Ben, good morning.
Good morning, Dennis.
How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you too?
I'm good. You don't write your name on your shirt,
My father is not a soldier.
but it's not because you have a bad name.
But my father is also not a soldier. I'm from a civilian home. We don't carry our names on our chest.
Yes, you don't want any trouble for yourself.
Yeah, if there's a need to do introduction, I will. Swansea happened to come from a military background, so
And you don't have to do anything that contradicts with the law. And that's what the executives in the Ashanti region
But this is what a lot of our political people do these days, anyways.
writing their names on
They
it.
always have their names and their party identities, inscripted on their chest and all that. So it comes with the new trend of branding
New trend.
for our political people. Anyway.
Is that why Is that why your Ashanti regional executives are wearing military uniforms? When they're not supposed to. I mean, camouflage military.
I do not have the full facts on the matter, but I listened to it on one of your stations, and I do not know exactly what had informed the decision to dress in that manner, but I would have to get a full fact of the matter to be able to comment on it.
So they call themselves NDC Army.
All right, okay.
And so when the former president visited the Ashanti region, that was a uniform they used.
But there's nothing different. There's nothing, absolutely wrong with identifying yourself as an army or a movement. Identify with a party. But they didn't say they were actually, NDC's army replacing Ghana Armed Forces. So I don't really see any issue with it. We have all sorts of groups, as political parties, loyal ladies, and 31st Women Movement.
And they don't go about wearing security uniforms.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That I don't have the full fact of the issue regards why a particular uniform was selected and how they ended up wearing it and all that. But I honestly, we have since this current government came to power, we've been having some paramilitary groups, all over the place, from invisible forces to also khaki wearing, forces also. It's become sort of the norm. But this particular issue,
those khaki wearing were said to have been national security officials.
But before they came into government, they were doing all sorts of things. Since when were they in opposition and were working for the national security? Or you didn't hear the kind of things they did before they came to power? So we even have some in Bogatanga called at the point they were calling them the Kandahar boys or something.
And you also have some.
Yes. But every political party, even individuals in their homes have private.
I don't need to encourage it.
But the point I'm making is that even individuals in their homes have private security, don't they? They do have private security, and political parties and individuals who are members of the party are allowed to have it. But as to whether they are wearing the uniform that the Ghana Armed Forces also wears and whatnot, and I do not have the full fact on that matter. Maybe I'll have to abreast myself with it before.
Well, Swansea, I don't know if you also find it, but there's the MP for Wild West, Peter Lashin Tobu, says that there's nothing wrong with they wearing military camouflage. There's no law against it.
And that's the saddest part of it all. You see, so the next day I wake up and then I use the coat of arms and bust boldly on my car, and I tell you that there's no law disallowing me to use that, and I hoist the flag of Ghana on my car, going round gallivanting. And then what does that mean? Then I'm telling the people of Ghana that I am the president. Do you get my point? Is there any law telling me that I shouldn't use the coat of arms? No. But you see, there are some norms and traditions that we must abrase our minds and character to it. We have the right to everything, but not all that befits us. How can you be wearing military uniform? If the military should take action, then once you are wearing the uniform, when we were kids growing up in the barracks, they used to tell us that if you're a barracks boy, it doesn't permit you to wear their uniform. They will tell that khaki is never a leather. So once you start wearing the uniform, then you do what the military do. So if they see you to be wearing the uniform, then you are part of them. So if they are going for jogging or they are going for any routine exercise, then you need to join. But it isn't well. Look, I tell you that party, as we are growing up, finding our own private securities to protect our leaders anywhere they go is the best ideal way, because the state doesn't provide security for individuals of that top brass in our political parties. Maybe apart from, with the exception of the flag bearer, that the state will provide. But the rest need personal protection. But it doesn't permit you to go and wear uniform. So the next day I wake up and then I saw a police uniform and then I wear, telling myself that there's no law permitting or there's no law disallowing me to wear it. No, please. He's a member of parliament. I think he should know better. And then call a spade a spade. This kind of attitude doesn't augur well. We are bringing the name of the military into disrepute. And the military is the last resort. It is the last diligent organization that we have as a country. It is the military that we can pinpoint and tell ourselves that their discipline is best to none when it comes to everything. And let me stress on, once we are still in the military side, let me stress on the unfortunate happenings that went in Accra Central. It's very, very bad. I condemn it on all uncertainty terms. You see,
but is it just enough? It's becoming one too many. That's
yes,
my concern.
that's why I want to
the-
call
the-
the military high
The point
command.
is that it is the military themselves that has brought itself into dispute. On many occasions these days, you see our military becoming ballot protesting unit. You see our military in Ashama. You see our military beating people on the street of Bogatanga for somebody stealing one of their members' phones. You see the military having to fight with the police openly at Accra Central. The military, armed forces these days, the military that we used to know is not the kind of military we are having under this government, where a group of
So their uniforms can be
no,
worn.
but there's somebody who had been the MP who has spoken about the matter. He was a former police officer.
Yes.
So he should know better.
So the point is that
So
he's
he
saying
should
that
know
there's no
better.
law that bans it. If
So-
he has any evidence that there's a law that stops anybody from wearing a uniform of that sort,
No,
he
I'm
should
not-
cite
I'm
it.
not- I'm not
he
disputing that.
He is a former police officer, a senior police officer for that matter, and he has given his position and verdict on the matter that there's absolutely no law that bans people from doing
But
it.
this was the
what
same-
what we used to know is that, you know, when those times you see somebody wearing a camo or something,
A camouflage.
then you see that the police or the military will pick you up, or they will kind of try to ask you to remove the dress and all that. We have seen a lot of that happening. But the fact of the matter is that based on this, a senior police officer who is now a member of parliament, based on his expertise and his knowledge of the issues and having worked as a senior police officer, says that there's no law that actually, but if we want to outlaw it, because I mean for various reasons, people can wear such uniforms to undertake activities that would undermine the security or compromise the position of the security. For example, you see a police, somebody in the military uniform in Kumasi, and attacking somebody, and you may not know whether they are real military officers or they are some of these groups that we're
Yes,
talking
that
about.
is
One point that you
Yes.
made was that
So
if it was illegal, the government could have taken measures to prevent its importation into the country, the camouflage uniforms. If it was
if
illegal.
we want to
That is the
outlaw
point
it,
that
if
Mr. Tobu
we, yes, if we
at
want to
one point
outlaw
made.
it, if we want to outlaw it, we have to come to a position and do that and agree that, look, this and this and this we cannot do. We are putting it in our law that you cannot do
But
this, you
then
cannot do that.
we cannot also encourage it.
I'm not saying we should encourage it. I'm saying that when people do it, it's not as if it's illegal, and that's the position of the man. That is not. There's no law that bans people from wearing it.
And I'm-
So if
okay,
we realize that, okay, that particular action would affect, the image of the military